Hey guys, how's it going? Eminem Gaming here, and today we're back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about Dark Souls 3, my review, thoughts, and all that good stuff about Dark Souls. I've just beat the game. I got 2 out of 3 endings, and yeah, definitely want to give you my opinions on that. So, first of all, I want to say thank you to you guys for checking out all my Souls videos. I know I've kind of been spamming you with them, but uh, they're there for like tips and guides for everyone who may be struggling. Yeah. So I thought that would be good to do. But we're back to normal videos probably tomorrow or whatever. So yeah, but let's get into this video and let's talk about the negatives that I personally noticed or felt while playing Dark Souls. Um, First of all, the frame rate. The frame rate wasn't horrendously bad, but it definitely had its drops here and there on the PlayStation 4. Now, bear in mind, it may just be me. I don't know, but when there was like really small areas with a lot of enemies, which basically is Dark Souls or horrendously difficult bosses, yeah, there was a little bit of frame rate drops here and there. Not too bad, but at the same time, in a game like this, you know what I mean, you're already at a disadvantage how hard it is. Then you add on top of it frame rate drops. It's never going to be too good, is it? But yeah, so that was my main problem with the game that I noticed. And it wasn't really that bad, but it's something I noticed. You know what I'm saying? The next thing I wanted to talk about was the kind of the game setup. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the worlds didn't feel like, I don't know, and maybe it was just because Bloodborne was so well done, or I don't know, but I felt like there was a lot more care and attention put into Bloodborne's world than maybe this one, and I felt like it felt a lot like the Chalice dungeons, but all the time. It was like a maze all over the place, but they didn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Like, I could understand Bloodborne's this, I just couldn't understand why there's like invisible walls and there's uh, there was like, to get to this area you got to smash down an invisible wall, but like there was no implication that that's what you got to do. There was no one telling you that's what you got to do. It's literally just pot luck that I hit a wall. Do you know what I mean? Like, with some of them, and I've probably missed a ton of secret areas, and it definitely felt like the Chalice Dungeons made into a game, which is not bad because the Challenge Dungeons was very good, but at the same time, I felt it was the weakest part of Bloodborne, in my opinion. So even though it's not bad that the game is like a maze, it's just I wish it had maybe been a little bit something else. But nonetheless, let's get into the final complaint or nitpicking thing or whatever about it, and that is the bosses. Now, not all the bosses, but 2 or 3 I felt were very lazily done. Like, some of them were very, very easy. I went into some bosses with 1 Estus flask, you know, no checkpoint, 1 Estus flask, half my health, and I still beat them. You know what I mean? And I'm not that great, so that shows that I didn't feel that they were maybe, as well thought out as maybe they should be. There was a boss in this game, as you can see on my channel, where you literally can beat him with 1 hit, which nonetheless is obviously, I don't mind, I don't mind getting the trophy, I don't mind beating a boss, getting the souls, but at the same time it didn't feel like, woo, I've overcome this, and that's what I felt every time I beat a boss, maybe in like Bloodborne. I know I keep putting the reference there, but when I beat Bloodborne, I felt a sense of achievement on pretty much every single boss. Even on New Game Plus, like I went back and like what's his name? Father Gascoigne. I beat him on New Game Plus, and I felt a sense of achievement. If I beat that dragon on New Game Plus with 1 shot, you're not really feeling that much sense of achievement. But maybe that's just me. Yeah. But let's get on to what's good about the game, which is the overwhelming majority of the game. And I will say, absolutely beautiful. This game is the best looking. It's much better looking, in my opinion, than Bloodborne. Bloodborne was a very good looking game as well, so that's very impressive to me. They have sort of a different sort of, I guess, like shaders, or I don't really know. I'm not a technical kind of person, but like they had different like filters on. It's sort of a, I guess, like a, I don't know. It has this weird sort of white filter on, but it makes it look really good in my opinion. The whole world looks amazing, and yeah, an absolute pleasure on the eye at least. And then I say getting to the areas, like getting to different areas, even though it was very much a challenge, that was more enjoyable to me than the actual boss fight. So, hear me out here. When you're trying to get through to an area, or a boss or whatever, the enemies around the boss, so like knights and different demons and all that sort of stuff, they are actually really difficult. So getting to one area is really a challenge, and it's a really awesome to play through it and get through all the enemies. So I thought there was a lot of different variety in enemies. You got like things that crawl on their back, you got these things that throw knives. You got like chests that you think you're opening to get a treat or something, and it ends up eating you. It's very, very wide array of enemies, skeletons, all sorts of things, knights, uh, tons, and even mini bosses within the levels. It's a little bit crazy, but I thought they were really thought out, the enemies, and I thought they were really good. Um, like the normal enemies you see on the way to an area. Um, the music in this game is amazing. Like, it just nails everything when you're in a boss fight and you've just took a little bit of his health off. It always seems to me always ramp up, and you get a little bit anxious or whatever. Oh, I've got to get one more hit in or whatever, and you really do feel that through the music it has in the game, and I think that's awesome. Um, Majority of the bosses, now I did complain about some of the bosses, but majority of the bosses in this game are very well thought out. Unlike some of them, a lot of them in this game are very well thought out, very difficult, although everyone has their weakness in the game. Some of them are more obvious than the others, let's just say. And to me, that's awesome. That's awesome. Particularly my favourite boss in the game, no spoilers or whatnot, was probably Dragon Slayer Armor. I think that's what it is. The fight's on my channel. It was really difficult, but it was fairly difficult, if that makes any sense. It was fair, and you could do it, but you have to be good, or or in my case, be lucky or whatever. So yeah, definitely. Though, yeah, I noticed that with the game. That most of the bosses were well thought out. If you got a little bit of, I don't know, skill or whatever, or patience in my case, you're gonna beat them, but they're gonna be difficult. So majority of the bosses were really good in the game. And now I want to talk about the variety in weapons. There's just so many weapons in this game, from short swords to, like for quick action. There's like knuckle dusters almost. Um, there's medium swords which are quicker but don't hit as hard. There's big massive swords which are very difficult to roll with and to hit quickly, but pack a hell of a punch, especially upgraded. Um, so definitely in this game, a ton of different weapons and shields, and I didn't really touch this sort of stuff, but like magic and all that sort of stuff. There's a ton of that sort of stuff in the game, which definitely makes for a lot of different customization. If you're like me and you just want to go in there and try and fight, you can do that. Obviously, I beat the game, so obviously that shows you can do that if you want. If you just want to sit back and shoot them, you can be a sorcerer or whatever. There's a ton of stuff you can do in this game, and And yeah, that's amazing, that like the different customization in the game. Online is awesome in this game. Whether it's getting help for a boss, or whether it's PvP, whether you want to play with your friends, whether you want to, I don't know, whatever you want to do, you can do it in this game because, um, yeah, it gives you that option. I mean, when you're really struggling with a boss, you can summon people when you're embered. If you really want to help people, you can obviously go and try and help people. If you want to hinder people, you can go and hinder them. And I will say, this game, in my opinion, doesn't do much better than Bloodborne in any sort of area. But what it does do better than Bloodborne in a massive way is the online. Basically, in Bloodborne, you kind of needed to be one, you needed to want to be invaded, which I don't think many people wanted. In this, it don't matter what you want. If you're gonna get invaded, you're gonna get invaded. Sometimes there's areas where you're like, oh god, can I just get to the next bonfire? Can I just get to this next bonfire? And then a little prompt comes up on the bottom. You are now being invaded by so and so, and my god, you know what I mean? When you've got no Estus flask left, and it's crazy, but it makes definitely a big difference, and definitely more of a social aspect, Dark Souls, which is awesome. It's awesome in my opinion. So yeah, it definitely has a deep lore to it. But I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really understand the story. Maybe I'd have understood it more if I beat Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 and 2. I don't know, but I didn't really understand the story. Nonetheless, even without really understanding the story, I still had a hell of a good time playing the game. So now, with all that being said, what's my review? What do I think of this game? So I'm going to give you a numbered rating first, then should you buy it, and then, yeah, let's go from there. So first of all, I thought about this for a while. I'm going to give this game, because of how many things I was a little bit annoyed at, even though they weren't big things, but there was more than like a couple. I'm going to give this game a 9.5 out of 10. It was very close to a 10, but I just felt it was lacking that little bit of something to say this is a 10. Do you know what I'm saying? In my personal opinion. But still, obviously a great game. But is it worth $60? Do you get your money's worth? I will say, now maybe this is just me, I don't know. I didn't get as much value out of this as I did in Bloodborne. I beat the game in around about 25 hours. I'm not too sure, I can't remember. But I remember it took me about 30 to 40 hours to beat Bloodborne. So maybe in terms of that sense, it's not as much as value as some of maybe the other Dark Souls games, or Bloodborne, or Demon Souls. But what I will say about this game, though, is that compared to most games on the market, this is an incredible value. I would recommend this 100% to anyone. If if you really struggle with a boss, let's just say you go up to it and you keep dying, you can't do it, you can literally get people online who are higher level to come help you. Yeah, so like everyone can, potentially, do it. It just takes a little bit of patience, I will say that. If you've got a a bit of an anger problem, you may be smashing some controllers, I'm not too sure. But yeah, 100% recommend it to people. Absolutely love this game to pieces. And so far from what I've played, and bear in mind, it is, only April, but this is so far my game of the year. Bear in mind that doesn't say much with games like Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted, and all that coming out very soon. At least for me, I haven't got Ratchet and Clank yet, so it's going to be very interesting. But I definitely said this is in running for the game of the year, and it definitely still is. Amazing game, 100% recommend it. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already, if you like this video or any other video on my channel. But until next time, guys, I'll catch you in a new video very soon.